If you are watching this on YouTube, please press the subscribe button below. It's free. Then you'll receive the latest notifications of videos. This morning, we have Sandy Snelling, who will lead us in meditation, and then we'll have 20 minutes of silence, and after that, we're going to open it up for sharing. Over to you, Sandy.
Thank you, Dan. I only found out about this a few minutes ago because it was meant to be Nick Aranda's, so forgive me for no preparation whatsoever, but we'll manage. I've just offered it up to God. So I thought what we'd do today is look at I call upon God's name and my own, because I think we sometimes forget about that we can just call God's name and that it's actually also our name. We get so caught up in that we can contact Holy Spirit and Jesus, or forget all of that altogether and just go about our lives listening to our ego stuff. But we can just call upon God's name and he will hear us and he will listen to us. And that is the only name that we need, that everything else is God. So any other little name you have for God is not the real name. The real name is God. It is all just an illusion. Everything is God. So I just thought I'll read a bit of the actual lesson and then that will lead us into the meditation, because I think it's beautiful. As usual, Jesus's words are this beautiful love letter that is always just reminding us, gently reminding us of the truth of who we are. And, our name is one with God. It reminds us of our oneness and our holiness. And I really forget that a lot. I don't know about you, but I do. I forget that, I am a part of God. I am his holy son, his holy child of God. And, I think it's so beautiful when I do read it. It touches my heart. It opens my heart. And there's bits within this lesson where he talks about the sick being healed of their sickly thoughts, the blind being healed and the deaf being healed. And I don't think he means that on the physical level of blindness. He's talking about our spiritual eyes. He's talking about that we always look at the world with the ego eyes when actually we should be looking with the spiritual eyes. We hear the world with our ego, but we should be listening with our spiritual ears. We feel the world with our ego, and yet we should be listening with our heart. So I think this is a beautiful lesson. So I'll just read this and then it will gently lead us into the 20 minutes of silence. God's name is holy, but no holier than yours. To call upon his name is to call upon your own. A father gives his son his name and thus identifies the son with him. His brothers share his name and thus they are united in a bond to which they turn for their identity. Your Father's name reminds you who you are, even within a world that does not know, even though you have not remembered it. God's name cannot be heard without response, nor said without an echo in the mind that calls you to remember. Say his name, and you invite the angels to surround the ground on which you stand, and sing to you as they spread out their wings to keep you safe and shelter you from every worldly thought that would intrude upon your holiness. Repeat God's name and all the world responds by laying down illusions. Every dream the world holds dearly has suddenly gone by, and where it seems to stand you find a star, a miracle of grace. The sick arise healed of their sickly thoughts. The blind can see and the deaf can hear. The sorrowful cast off their mourning and the tears of pain are dried as happy laughter comes to bless the world. Repeat the name of God and little names have lost their meaning. No temptation but becomes a nameless and wanted thing before God's name. Repeat his name and see how easily you will forget the other names of the gods you valued. They have lost their name of God you gave them. They became anonymous and valueless to you, although before you let the name of God replace their little names. You stood before them worshipfully, naming them as gods. Repeat the name of God and call upon yourself, whose name is his. Repeat his name, and all the teeny, nameless things on earth slip into the right perspective. Those who call upon the name of God cannot mistake the nameless for the name, nor sin for grace, nor bodies for the Holy Son of God. And should you join a brother as you sit with him in silence and repeat God's name along with him within your quiet mind, you have established there an altar which reaches to God himself and to his Son. Practice this today. Repeat God's name slowly, again and still again. Become oblivious to every name but his. Hear nothing else. Let all your thoughts become anchored on this. No other word we use except at the beginning when we say today's idea but once, and then God's name becomes our only thought, our only word, the only thing that occupies our minds, and our only wish we have, the only sound with any meaning, and the only name of everything that we desire to see, of everything that we would call our own. Sit silently and let his name become the all-encompassing, the idea that holds your mind completely. Let all thoughts be still except this one. And to all other thoughts respond with this, and see God's name replace the thoughts and the 1,000 little names you gave them, not realizing that there is one name for all of them. A prayer is but not necessary, for it holds them all within it. Communication far transcends all words. So let's go silently into the meditation, just saying God's name. Slowly, again and still again, just keep repeating God's name. And remember who you are.
Open your eyes and come back into the room. We have 17 minutes left for sharing, and if you'd like to speak, raise your hand, and I'll invite you to take yourself off mute. Who'd like to share? Teresa.
Sandy, I just want to say thank you so much for stepping in. And that was amazing and a wonderful lesson. Which lesson was it again?
183.
183.
I call upon God's name and on my own.
Oh, wonderful. And I love the way you started off and just reminded, because I hadn't read it like that before, that it's not my human eyes or my ego eyes that I'm seeing with. He's not talking about that, or my human ears. So that was really helpful. It's a beautiful meditation. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes, I think we get a bit confused, about the thing, and it starts off by saying, where is it in that one? The sick arise healed from their sickly thoughts. That's what changed it for me. It's their sickly thoughts. It doesn't always change everything on the outside when we do these things. It will often change. It's our changing our mind, it's our changing our thoughts, and then that helps us to see through Christ rather than through our humanness, and that's what shifts us. So yes, it's a nice way of looking at it, because I think we do get caught up in the literal word of it rather than actually what it's getting to the heart of. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, take yourself off mute.
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Sandy. Lovely to just turn up and find your leading. I just wanted to read out this little bit as a way of saying thank you to everyone and to everyone. And should you join a brother as you sit with him in silence and repeat God's name along with him within your quiet mind, you have established there an altar which reaches to God himself and to his Son. So I just want to thank you that you gave us that opportunity to sit in silence together and say, God, God, God. And yeah, thank you. It's beautiful.
You're welcome. And it is beautiful, every now and again in the meditation, I reminded myself of that we're all together, we're all one, we're God. There's this altar there, and it is just such a deep peace, isn't it, when we do that and we join together, and everything seems to wash away, all our worries, all our thoughts about what we were doing before we came here and what we've got to do today just melt away, and that's what he's there for, is for us just to call on him and allow that peace and quiet and silence to sink in. Thank you.
Who'd like to share? I'll just jump in here. Sandy, that was beautiful. What a gorgeous lesson. And I've read that many times before, but it never touched my heart like it did today. It's so beautiful. And I'm going to make that my mantra. God, yes. So it's a wonderful way to go back to peace. So yeah, I'm amazed that you could step in at the last moment and have.
Well, I handed it over. I always hand things over like that. It's like, okay, you obviously want me to do something, over to you. And I just asked what lesson and open the book. So
Wow.
So that's God doing that. I'm just the channel.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being a channel. Yes.
You're welcome.
And who'd like to share? Vivian.
Vivian, you're on mute.
Vivian, you're on mute.
Can't hear you, Vivian. Sorry, darling.
There we are.
Hey.
Thank you. I just want to say how it's really moved me over the time of doing these Wednesday meditations, how I really do get the feeling of joining with everybody in this group, and the lovely peace that comes with it is a dynamic of this group. And often when the bell goes, I'm still, do I really have to come out of this? Because it's such a tangible sense of peace. So I really want to say thank you to everybody in the group who shares this every week, because I do appreciate it. Thank you. I know I'm just going to go into a nice, relaxed frame of mind. So thank you very much. And the God thing, yes, to repeat that. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Sandy.
You're welcome. And it is, I find that this meditation each week is just like, for me, it's a reset. You know, it is that coming together and feeling that oneness and that peace. It really is very palpable, isn't it? So, thank you.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. I love the Wednesday meditation where I get a sense we're all one. Our mind is in the same place, and we're all sharing together. And it's a wonderful gift that you're all here. I'm done. Who'd like to share? Norman.
Yes, thank you very much, Sandy. It reminds me, I'm sure I've told this story before. I was in bed one night thinking about God, and I was like everybody else, I suppose, frightened of him, scared of him, because of the upbringing in Sunday school, as you know, you're a hell-bound boy, you know, you should do this, that, and the other thing. So trying to lose fear of God was my biggest, so they could never ever get close to him. But after doing the course for a number of years now, I had a vision of a single eye. And I was thinking to myself, I've heard of this, the all-seeing eye. And then I had a vision of an ear. And I thought, and I've heard of I haven't heard of the all-seeing ear, but, and then a mouth. And I thought the three wise monkeys, hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. And then I thought, this could be God's eye, God's ear, God's mouth. And then I thought, a cold shoulder, what I thought was a cold shoulder, appeared. And I thought, can't get that close to him, there's a cold shoulder for me. But when I looked again, the cold shoulder had a nice iron sweater on it. And I thought, it's a warm shoulder. So I thought, I'll cuddle up here. And it was lovely. It was, if you like, God's shoulder that it was resting on. And all my fears just evaporated. And it was there, seen from the age there. And then I thought, I think I better go back to Earth again, sort of thing. And he said, that's okay, my big son. So he was speaking in my own language, or Jesus was speaking to me in his language, you know. God doesn't mind what you call him because he's love. And that's all there is. That's all that exists is love. So, and of course, the world is getting better in my eyes. It's slowly but surely. And respect everybody. And don't look at them. Try not to look at them as people. Because Jesus said, hand it over to me. I was human on that walked this earth. I know exactly what needs to be done. Hand it all over to me, and I look after it. And you just enjoy yourself and do absolutely nothing. Let everything go, and God will do everything for you. Treat me as a big brother, and just be happy. And it's all symbolic language, of course, but it was a lovely reminder that we are all one with God, and it doesn't really matter what name you put on, because we can't put a name on love. And he knows that. And he doesn't know anything about our dreaming, but Jesus does. We can't ask God to take away it, because he only knows love and nothing else. But Jesus has been here, and he knows how to do it. Or the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call him. So thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you, Mum, for
Today.
sharing that. Thank you. That's really beautiful. And yes, you know, words are only symbols, aren't they? Symbols are symbols, we're told in the course. So it is just they respond to us in either Jesus or Holy Spirit or God will use all sorts of means, and sometimes that's words, and sometimes that's other things. You know, we forget that you know, it's not always going to come with words. It will come from many different forms. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
We have a message in chat from Sharon. The manner in which you read was beautiful, really peaceful and grounding.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Who'd like to share? Lottie.
Thank you for all your shares and for the whole focus on this lesson. It's always been a lesson which has troubled me, because I do believe that God has no name. So how do you do this lesson? That's ego, isn't it? Obviously, trying to get in the way. But the thing that really helped me was that the universality of God. And my husband was involved in getting an interfaith centre built at a university, and he said what he wanted to see was all round the worship area, tell me all your beautiful names for God and I will tell you mine. I don't know where that comes from, but it is a quote from somewhere. And that focused me on naming is just a symbol. And it's really just an awareness, isn't it? An awareness of love, which is all-encompassing, irrefutable. It's there. And I don't want to call God it, but love is wonderful. Thank you.
That's lovely, Lottie. It's so true. I mean, our ego does want to get in there, doesn't it? With, you know, oh well, there's so many different names for God, and blah, 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 you know, it's just a tool, isn't it? Just to get us to that space, so we can just gently say to our ego, "Thank you for that. I'll listen to you, but I'm going to do this." And I just find, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, so long as you're comfortable with that word as well. You know, some people call it the beloved, spirit, one, love. You know, it's just finding that word that you feel comfortable with. For some, that will be father. For some, that will be mother. It really doesn't matter. It's just about reminding yourself that we are one with this oneness. We are all encompassing with it. And that it is about that love, isn't it? Just that connection to love. And when we do that, you know, after a while of doing it, I feel that the words drop away. I feel that my body begins to melt, and you just lose, you know, I lose this thing of Sandy. It's not, this body isn't here when I'm in that meditation. It's just being. So I think, yes, our ego can get very caught up with it and want to trip us up. You're quite right, Lottie, you know, that but it's just, I think, remembering it's just a tool, and find a word that you're really, really comfortable with. And it doesn't matter whether that's agrees with somebody else's, it's irrelevant. It's just a symbol. Thank you.
Thank you. Who'd like to share? Catherine and then Linda.
Oh, well, Linda.
Okay, Linda and then Catherine.
Yes, that was wonderful. When I was meditating like at 6:30 this morning. And then I came down and read my lesson for the day and meditated again. Well, love and God are the same. And everything was love. Everything was God. There was no separation in anything. And I had this yesterday as well. I must admit, the last few months I've been going through quite hell. Really not in a good place. And then I make these commitments to get up at 6:30 every morning and meditate. And this morning and yesterday, God is. So I alternate it between God and love. It just kept coming in. So what you've actually said this morning has shown me that, yes, I am one with everything. I'm absolutely blown away. So thank you so much, and for everyone for sharing. We are one. We are one. Thank you.
Catherine?
Need to share. I was just going to say that, Sandy, in your articles, what comes across is your commitment to speak course lessons into your life, which I find really inspiring, because in the moment when you're like caught up in the world, it's not always a go-to to go, oh, love, 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 love. And so partly because it's you leading this and because you're, you know, reminding us of this lesson, I feel I'm taking it in more because I do know that's your approach to things. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we've come to the end of our time together. Sandy, thank you. That was wonderful. And thank you for stepping in an amazing way. And thank you all for being here. And the sharing was lovely. And look forward to seeing you next week. Lots of love.
Thanks, everyone.
We love you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Love you.
Bye.